have you back on this program. This is Nigeria Decides, the only program that brings you every side, every angle of the road to February 23 and March 9 general elections in Nigeria. We've been on and we've been looking at how ready has Nigeria been, how ready has the stakeholders been, and how ready have even Nigerians also as electorates been. We'll bring you candidates, we'll bring you analysts, and we'll bring you voters on this program. This promises to be another interesting edition of Nigeria Decides. A warm welcome. Eminike Agu is my name. Glad to be back here on this show, and I have Marshal Anthony Onoye also on this program. Marshal, we're here again.
Wonderful hanging out with you on Nigeria Decides, and it's another day to bring you banters and public opinion, and as well as analysis, debates. Sometimes we throw punches on the show, sometimes very few times. My name is Marshal Anthony Onoye, and today's edition is not going to be without a guest. We've got someone in the studio whom we will be profiling first, of course.
Interesting guest.
Yes.
Interesting guest.
Yes.
Our pleasure to welcome into the studio a media entrepreneur. You all know him, of course, a presidential candidate and founder, publisher, Sahara Reporters. You also want to call him. Let's welcome into the studio the presidential candidate of the African Action Congress, AAC. No other person than Omoyele Sowore. Welcome.
Thank you for bringing me. Thank you.
Now, just so we established a more comprehensive profile of our guest today, the African Action Congress AAC's presidential candidate Omoyele Sowore is a human rights activist and pro-democracy campaigner. He is the founder and publisher of international news agency Sahara Reporters. The website's main preoccupation is citizen journalism, supplying videos, photos, news stories, and commentaries. Sowore is an indigent of Ondo State in southwest Nigeria. He was born on the 16th of February 1971, the Niger Delta region of the country, where he was also raised. He studied geography and planning at the University of Lagos and holds a master's degree in public administration from Columbia University. He teaches modern African history at the City University of New York and post-colonial African history at the School of Art, New York. Eminike, I'll let you have the end beat.
Okay. All right. Sahara Reporters, this kind of Nigerian establishment and nemesis of the corrupt. We would like to stress that of the corrupt was birthed in 2005 but became operative from 2006. It is supported by grants donated by Ford Foundation and Omedia Foundation. As part of its policy, the medium does not accept adverts. Interesting. I would like to stress that. The medium does not accept adverts. I don't know if you have seen any advert on Sahara Reporters. And financial support from the Nigerian government. And I dare ask why.
Yes, we believe that if a government is good, it doesn't need to advertise on newspapers or on TV stations or on a blog. You know, the work of the government will show to people by itself.
Okay, you do not accept adverts
from
government. Yes.
But you do accept from
private.
Oh yeah. No. If you have, we do accept adverts for products, but you know, we don't accept government. I mean, advertisements from government. Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
Or government-linked entities.
Interesting.
Now, we read out your profile because we want to establish the presidential candidate we have on the show today.
Yeah.
Is there anything we're leaving out from your profile you'd want us to add quickly on the show before we go?
I think it's important to also mention that I'm a sports person. I'm a long-distance runner.
Okay.
I've done
like that.
8 marathons in my lifetime. Yes.
I like that.
Yeah, including that of New York.
You featured prominently
and
at
Lagos.
the just concluded Lagos
New York
Marathon.
and Lagos.
Yes. I did the New York Marathon in less than 4 hours.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
So,
Interesting. A man of many parts.
an athletic presidential
Yes.
Yeah, a media guru, a sports person,
yeah.
athletic in
Yeah,
in that regard.
Yeah.
Okay, and now a politician. All right, why are you in this? Why are you in this race?
I've been around political events in Nigeria for 30 years. I started in 1989, as soon as I got admitted as a freshman into University of Lagos. And our problem at that time was military rule. I was one of the young people who moved strongly, using nonviolent protests against military leaders at that time. And we edged them out by 1999. And I left the country shortly after that and went and did my master's and established Sahara Reporters. And at each time I look back, because I'm engaged with Nigeria on a regular basis, like in my gene, I keep looking at Nigeria, and each time there's a new government, it's worse than the last one. And it is because we keep first recycling the same set of people, we're recycling the same old and failed ideas. And I look at it, you know, we have all these experiences, we have exposure, and we can do better than these leaders that are mismanaging our space and our opportunities, and of course, our nation. And why not go save your country? It's not a sense of entitlement, it's a sense of duty.
It's a sense of duty.
Yes.
Okay, so we can easily summarize that why you are in this race is that call to duty.
Yes.
Great. All right. Let's tell our viewer that we just started. We have the presidential candidate of the African Action Congress, AAC, right here in the studio, a media entrepreneur, a media guru, and of course, the publisher and founder, Sahara Reporters, online news media.
Omoyele Sowore, you're someone who's been very controversial. This is because owing to what Sahara Reporters does primarily, it was known as an expository kind of media that brought to the fore certain information about certain individuals and certain organizations that the members of the public before then did not know. And you were found in the good books of quote and unquote politicians and some leaders of this country. Yeah. Why did you choose to go the route of reconnaissance, surveillance, and digging up dirt on certain individuals?
Let me use this opportunity first and foremost to thank Pastor Chris Oyakilo. I'm aware that he's leading a pack or a ministry that is mostly made of very young people, very vibrant young people. And interestingly, some of them are ardent followers, so we have that in common. But my part in life had been to challenge and speak truth to power, and it started from the university. In fact, I attended the University of Lagos, spending 6 years instead of 4 years. And for all the time that I was there, an armored tank was placed at the entrance of the gate of the university. And I'd always known that for us to move forward, to break the yoke of oppression, corruption, ineptitude, and incompetence, you have to step on toes. So that is where the controversy that you seem to know came from, is that courage to confront people who have been given the responsibilities and the resources.
I'm sorry, I have to cut you short a little bit.
Don't do.
I'm so sorry.
Right.
We have a call from India.
Yes, India.
Excited. Yeah, excited seeing you.
Wow.
All right, but don't lose the track. We'll be back to you. We'll be back to you.
Our caller is calling from India.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Frankly, all the way from India. What part of India are you calling from?
No, not India. I'm calling from England, from the UK.
Oh, you are in the United Kingdom. I see. Okay, you are true to Nigeria Decide Studio. Please go ahead.
Thank you. By the way, this is Franklin.
Oh, I see.
Right.
Go ahead, sir.
Okay. I actually want to just ask the presidential aspirant a question.
Please go ahead.
Okay, I want to congratulate you so far on the way you have moved your campaign. I mean, to be honest, I think this is new in, the political space in Nigeria. But the thing is, I am not very convinced, regarding how you plan to deal with the security situation in Nigeria. I just want you to take this as another opportunity to let Nigerians know how you intend to really tackle the, security problems that we tend to encounter in that country.
Okay. Thank you so much. I'm sure that question has been taken down. You were on a track, but he wants to know how you plan to deal with security situation in Nigeria.
The truth is that Nigeria's security situation did not come from the blues. It has built over the years because we are looking at security conventionally, linearly. And security is not a linear issue. What has happened is that for you to have physical security, there must be social security, there must be job security. In this day and time, there has to be cyber security, and all forms of security that we have abandoned. So we are not taking care of our people. We are abandoning our children who should go to school. You don't send them to school. You don't give people jobs. What you are telling them to do is to fend for themselves. And when people fend for themselves in large numbers, there will be a breakdown of law and order. And what we plan to do, which is convincing, is that we'll take care of the physical part because it's driven by, some kind of decay and chaos at the top. So what am I saying? First and foremost, we must fire the commander-in-chief of the armed forces as of today because he has demonstrated incompetence. President Buhari came into office with a problem of Boko Haram. He's leaving us with herdsmen. He's leaving us with bandits in Zamfara. He's leaving us with a higher number of kidnappers, leaving us with general crime that we've never experienced before in this country. And we also have to go after the generals who are executing and failing in securing our nation. But the issue of internal security must also be decisively looked at in such a way that the role of the police, as it meets that of the military, must be decided. Today in Nigeria, military officers are carrying bags and doing bouncers at wedding parties, whereas they should be working to protect the territorial integrity of Nigeria. They are overstretched. There's corruption, large-scale corruption in the system, and we are using outdated equipment and ideas to fight terrorism in particular. What I know is that every local terrorist group lasts 10 years, and whenever you can't defeat them, you must change strategy, and you must change generals who are executing the war against them, and it's time to do that. Boko Haram started massively in 2009. It's 2019. It's time to change strategy.
Okay, let's get back to your ambition and the general elections generally. What would be your assessment of the process so far?
It's been very interesting. I came into the race exactly February 2018 with a town hall meeting in Lagos, and it's a year later. I was probably one of the last to enter the race among the younger candidates, except Obieze Ekwesili, who is no longer in the race now. But what I've seen is that Nigeria had been yearning for this. I also found out that our leaders, as they call themselves, don't even know Nigeria because they don't go into Nigeria. They limit their campaigns and activities to capital cities, in states and local government whenever they have to go there. And most of Nigeria, sadly, is ungoverned territory. I did 34 states, including the Federal Capital Territory, and found out that Nigeria is also virgin land. That is to say, if someone has ideas, that someone is clairvoyant and forward-thinking and has complete will, if you handle Nigeria, Nigeria can be turned around within a short time because everything you do, you're doing it afresh. There's plenty of land to grow crops on, plenty of people to groom, plenty of persons to employ, plenty of children to send to school, not to send to prison. So Nigeria is just yearning for that opportunity that can be brought about by a leader with vision and who is driven by a mission that is backed by stamina.
But aren't you one of those that advocate that rather than aim for the highest position in the country, you should start from somewhere? Hence, that brings me to my question, which I would, regularly ask people that have been referred to as not too popular for the positions they are running for.
Yeah.
Do you consider yourself popular enough to run for the position of the president, governing a country of over 200 million people.
Absolutely. Like I said, we started as a movement a year ago. We started a party about 6 months ago.
I'm in a position
It's today the third most popular party in Nigeria, the AAC. You can check all the polls.
I'm sorry once again.
Yes.
There's a call from Italy.
Yeah.
I hate to stop you. I hate to stop you, but I can't keep this caller too long on the line. Let's go to Italy, where another caller is on the line. Hello.
Hello.
Okay, thank you so much for calling Nigeria Decides all the way from Italy.
Yeah.
That's right. What part of Italy are you?
I'm calling from IT.
I see. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right, you have the presidential candidate of AAC and the media guru show here in the studio. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I love the way Omoyele Sowore is doing because I'm just really happy for him. You know, I just really happy for him. God will bless him. God will bless him for us Nigerians. All my prayer is that he will win. It will be Nigerian president this year, 2019. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Because he's a very good man. The way I'm watching him, I know that with him, Nigeria will change.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. What's your name again?
My name is Destiny.
Destiny. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Destiny.
You're on the part of telling us how popular. You
Let's
said
get
it's
back.
the third most popular party.
Right now, yes, in the country.
And in effect, you are assessing your chances.
Yes, we're not just assessing the chances. We have a very bright chance to beat the old guards in the system. And we have this understanding. It's not a feeling. It's backed by facts and data that Nigeria has a large population of young people who we call children of democracy, most of them born in 1999, and they're now 20 years old. Most of them are watching us today. They are members of the church or this ministry, and they are ready to vote. You know, there is also a group that I refer to, or is well known as the children of anger. Those who have been left in the lodge, they belong to Zone 7, as we like to refer to them, the ones who are abandoned, the ones who are hungry, and those who have been jobless and unemployed, you know, intentionally left in the lodge and the cold by our current leaders. They are there. They have also obtained their voters' cards and are really willing to vote.
So by that, you think the number of the youth that we have is something to go.
There are 21 million people who registered to vote to say they are students.
Some respondents have opined that your activism.
Sorry, once again.
Hello?
I don't like this position. A caller from northern part of the Americas, North America, on the line for
Okay, we
us.
seem to
Hello.
be getting too many internationals then.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's an international figure.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, thank you so much for calling Nigeria Decides.
Who's
May we
that
have
to
your
us?
name and where you're calling us from?
My name's Dixon Ogier.
Dixon.
I'm calling from Madrid, Spain.
Oh, Spain.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much. Please go ahead.
My contribution is for seeing my presidential candidate online. I would like to ask a question
Please go ahead.
about what I saw on online during the December, that's the New Year Eve celebration online on Loveworld.
Okay.
When President Obasanjo was with Pastor Chris, is he a member of Christ Embassy, or he came in there for political reason?
Okay.
I didn't get
Is
that question.
That question
No, that question
is not
is
yours.
not for him.
He wants to know, he saw former President Olusegun Obasanjo.
Thank you, so we can
with,
let him go and continue
okay.
in the studio.
All right. I guess you can continue listening while we attempt to answer that your question. Is he a member of the ministry, or was he Pastor Chris's guest? All right. All right, thank you so much for asking. He was a guest of Pastor Chris. Thank you so much.
There was a tour of the library, presidential library, and
Thank
that's
you
why
so
you saw
much.
it. Yeah.
We've answered
Thank
your
you very
question.
much.
Thank you.
All
right.
Some respondents have opined that you're rather than you've been known to play active role in activism, unionism, or back then in school, and you've been vocal about what's not right and things that needs to be done rightly in the country, but as a president, some respondents have opined that you seem to be more radical, take radical approach to things than being calm, collected, and focused on the job and aspirations that you pursue.
I think I've discharged myself creditably well as a candidate. I have participated in.
We'll have a call.
I think let's take this one call and then we shut down the line to allow him talk. But this is from Germany.
Okay.
Let's go to Germany. Another caller is on the line. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. How are you? Thank you so much for calling Nigeria Decides. What's your name?
I am doing well. I am currently watching your program on live stream on Love World.
Online. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Please go ahead.
I am calling presently from Germany.
What part of
And
Germany are you?
Sowore is our man. And we believe in him that he is the only one who can take Nigeria to the permanent side. Having lived for years in abroad, he has seen everything, how a country should work. And I watched his campaigns, and I discovered that he's truthful. That is why I followed him, and I'm doing campaign for him. Thank you for giving him this platform for him to appear here to enlighten the whole Nigeria.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much. Thank you for calling us all the way from Germany. Marshall, I think we need to shut down the line for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Just a few
So-
minutes.
Just
Can
for a
you
few
do that
minutes.
for us?
Yes.
So we could.
So I was answering to let you know that the fact that someone has confidence or that you are combative about your convictions don't mean that you cannot be president. In fact, some of the best presidents that we've seen in recent times are presidents that are very clear, that have clarity of their own ideas and their convictions. And when you do that, it also means that you can speak exactly to people, communicate to people what you want to do or what you're about, and that you can step up to the plate and fight when you need to fight for your people. I'm sitting right in the midst of the two of you, very calm, as you can tell. I've done several interviews, shows. I've actually traveled worldwide campaigning to Nigerians. I did 4 cities in Australia alone, been to South Africa, done several cities in Italy, in Spain. I did several in Canada, I think at least 4 or 5 cities in Canada, did almost 7 to 8 in the US. I've been to Ghana. So not only is this campaign locally active, it's also an international campaign to Nigerians and no Nigerians.
diaspora.
So you don't think your activism viewed as radicalism would work against you?
Not at all. I think as you can tell, a lot of people are following us, and a lot of people are buying into our ideas. And even recently, we're seeing celebrities who are joining us in droves. Nobody was incentivized to do it. They come to say, look, you're speaking truth to power. We like your composure. We like your demeanor. And you like, how firm you are about your convictions. And I don't see anything wrong with that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Let's get down to your party.
Yes.
African Action Congress.
Yes.
We followed you so long a time, and at a point we were hearing you were in a coalition.
Yes.
And you promoted a coalition. What happened to that coalition? On what platform are you now running? You said your party, AAC. What happened to the
So what happened was that I was invited to a coalition meeting that was later named PACT, Presidential Aspirants Coming Together. That's what it meant. At that time, we had not even established our own party. I was just an aspirant. And when I got there, I did advise everybody in that meeting that we should wait to have all the aspirants become candidates so that we can come together and have a merging of ideas and possibly present one single candidate from that group of very ambitious young people. And they disagreed with me, and I left immediately.
They disagreed on what point?
They disagreed. They said they want the aspirants to choose who will become
A common candidate.
the common candidate. And I left. Some others stayed and completed the process. That was what happened. Eventually narrowed down to Kingsley Moghalu and Fela Durotoye. And Kingsley Moghalu was defeated by Fela Durotoye. I wasn't there. At that point, I only attended one meeting and a social event at Charlie Boy's house in the evening. Nothing beyond that. So I wasn't part of PAC because...
And at that point, what did you make of it? Kingsley Moghalu and Durotoye emerging as individual candidates. What did you make of it?
Oh, you know, I'd warned against it, and I knew that PAC was going to end up the way it ended up, a conflagration, because I knew that Kingsley Moghalu would not accept a result that did not present him as a candidate. He had already made it clear that anything that did not present him as a candidate. But he went into PAC thinking and probably hoping that he was a heavyweight that could not be defeated at that level.
Okay.
So that was what made him follow through to the process. I felt that having gone through the process up to the point that you signed up to say, look, you know, if I lose, I'll give up.
If you lose, you lose. If you win,
It
you
was unfair to other participants for him to have pulled out.
Let me quickly
And
ask
I've
you
challenged
this.
him on that. But I also thought that he was naive to think that he could win. Because I knew when I went to the first meeting, I knew it was a setup.
Okay, Emily,
Go ahead.
Let me just quickly ask you this. Now, before the hula baloo about the 2019 elections, there was so much talk, much ado about nothing, about minimum wage and all of that.
Yeah.
And you've been known to say that it was in the center of the whole discussion, Nigerians clamoring for minimum wage.
Yes.
And at the center of the discussion was what our lawmakers earn. And you've been known to advocate for the slash in what our lawmakers earn.
Absolutely.
And that has been one of the mandates you're pushing, one of the mantras you're pushing.
Yeah.
If you become president, you would slash the
It's
lawmakers'
not about
salaries.
slashing it. The law is very clear on what they're entitled to. There are rules governing allocation of salaries and allowances to public officers in Nigeria. They're not entitled to more than 1.5 million naira as allowances, and their salary is around 750,000 naira. The allocation you're seeing, the humongous, almost criminal allocation of allowances to themselves, is something they did as a self-help. It has no basis in law. And what I would do is I will challenge that and ensure that the laws are followed to the letter. It's the job of the president, who is the executor of all our laws, to ensure that the laws are followed. If there are disagreements, we go to the judicial arm to iron it out.
Okay, let's one more time reopen the lines. I am told your fans and your followers all over the world.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that there has not been any call from Nigeria?
Yes, I'm just saying, we have more of the internationals. Well, let's open up our phone lines right now. Phone lines are open. You can call us and let us know what you think about our guest on the show today. If you've got questions, whatever contributions, do call us. If you're calling from outside Nigeria, be sure to add the short code +234. Nigeria decides. Emenike Agbo and myself are still here. Emenike?
All right. Sowore, you've attended a number of public debates and all of that.
Events, yes.
Yeah. There was this that made the rounds in the media that at one of those public outings that you seem to be endorsing everything APC seemed to have done in Lagos. I didn't know if that
No,
got to you.
that's not true.
So-
It was the candidates. The candidates was a town hall meeting setting in which 4 candidates were chosen. It was Moghalu and his vice, President Buhari, and Professor Shibaji, myself, and the vice, Dr. Rufai. And then it was followed by Atiku and Obi. And when we discussed taxes, which was when they asked me where would you get money to fulfill some of your promises, I said we are going to make sure that all taxes are collected appropriately. and I used Lagos to judge.
Can I take a call from France?
Yes, how possible it is that just one quick
We have people from Nigeria again.
proper collection of taxes
Oh, we
could
lost that
bring
call.
you money.
Did
But I
we
made
lose
it
the call?
very clear that the taxes I collected in Lagos has been stolen, so I didn't endorse what
Okay,
they're
so
doing in
you
Lagos.
didn't endorse.
endorse that, okay.
All right, okay. Now that has been cleared out. Let's talk about the election process so far. A postponement came.
Yeah.
Were you surprised? How
You
did
probably
receive
heard it from Sahara reporters first. So that tells you that I couldn't have been surprised. We broke the news on Sahara reporters, and for almost 5 hours, nobody else could confirm the story. I'm always prepared for this. If in some of my interviews, I said that I have not seen signs that the current regime is prepared for elections. You know, it's part of the power of clairvoyance, not prophecy, because I'm not in that business. To know that when you look at all the things going on in terms of preparation, the planning, you cannot find out that these people are ready for elections.
Hold your
Now
thoughts.
the
You have a
phone
caller.
lines are
Yeah.
open. We lost one from France. Now Michael is calling from South Africa. Hello, Michael in South Africa. Thanks for calling Nigeria Decides.
Hi, good evening.
Same to you, sir.
I'm good tonight, and you guys?
Please go ahead.
Oh, lost
Wow.
We lost that.
Michael, call us back
We
from
lost
South
that.
Africa. We'd like to have you contribute on the show.
Yes.
Okay, you were talking about.
So I wasn't surprised at all. I've covered, I think, 4 elections now, and in each of the cases they were postponed before the day. In fact, I think they won in 2007. That the one I brought, I think, Yaradua, was postponed as the election was starting, and 2011 was postponed, and 2015 was also postponed. So it has been part of our tradition to postpone elections.
Enough of you telling us about breaking it on Sahara Reporters. As a media organization, we might be a little bit jealous, but moving away from that, Omoyele, because for one of time, we want to get as much information as we can get from you. Moving away from that, what is your take on the counter-accusations and counter-accusations as to what parties or what actors or what officials might be responsible for the postponement? PDP is blaming INEC. INEC has really come out to take the
APC
blame and take him to the
blaming
slaughter.
PDP,
APC,
INEC
you know,
is-
counter-accusations.
all
Well, let's
of
hear
these
from the man, Omoyele Sowore. What's your take on the postponement?
What I know is that both parties are interested in tinkering with the process. Something happened that most people didn't pay attention to. On Wednesday, you know, a BDC owner was arrested with $2 million in Lagos. He was flying the money from Abuja.
Now, BDC is Bureau de Change.
Bureau de Change. And
I'm told you have another caller.
Yeah.
They won't let you talk.
and
All right,
it was money linked to
Just give
Atiku.
us.
Okay,
2
let's take
minutes.
this call
Let's
very
take that
quickly.
call.
Who's live to
Hold
us?
that thought. We'll come back to it.
Welcome to the show. Who's live to us?
Hello, good evening.
Good to have you.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, just okay. I don't understand my friend. He's coming twice today.
May we know who's calling and where you're calling us from? Hello. May we know who's calling?
We are giving us hope. And we know the
I may have to ask you to either, hello, please, I may have to ask you to either turn down the volume of your set if you are watching from a set, because the feedback is not very clear. We're not getting you very clearly. All right, please, if you're calling this,
At least I heard AAC, so one of your supporters. Can someone just call
in the background,
from Nigeria and tell us what you think about our guest today? So,
Anyway, so the arrest of this BDC owner had money linked to Atiku, and because of, I think there were a lot of interception of their money, and they didn't send money to their people on the ground. So APC, of course, spent money, but APC wanted election, but they didn't want election that is one-day election. They want staggered election, because that's what they did in Osun State. You know, staggered election, and then pull the rest of their resources, soldiers, police, and their people. So as of that day, 13 states were having issues with logistics. Some, as you know, some INEC offices were burnt, including that of Anambra.
Yes.
And 13 states had some of their materials
So you
that are
think those-
insufficient or they were sent to
those
the wrong.
offices that were burnt were sabotaged?
Of course. INEC said it that they were sabotage, you know. They were sabotage in terms of transportation of materials, because the problem with Nigeria and INEC is that INEC don't have the kind of independence that allow it to freely move materials around. They need the armed forces, the air force. They need NEMA to move materials.
The first caller from Nigeria is through.
All right. Our first caller from Nigeria.
Okay,
Who's
and
left to
that's
us?
Frank from Warri.
Frank from Warri.
Warri
Your
no dey carry
contributions.
last.
Warri no dey carry last.
Okay,
They must
then.
enter the studio.
Yes.
Let's have your contribution. Frank from Warri. Good to have you on the show today.
Yes, my humble pleasure, sir. Good evening.
Good to have you.
How is everything, sir?
Beautiful. Your contributions very quickly, Frank.
All right, sir. Please, my contribution. The bench studies. Like,
Okay, so Frank, your call seems to be breaking.
Dropping, yeah.
So you might need to relocate and find a place where you could get better signal and call us back. We'd like to hear what you have to say from Warri. We're still expecting other callers. Phone lines are still open. Sowore is going nowhere till the end.
Sure, you were trying to pinpoint this.
So the APC leadership have seen the numbers, and they don't look good for them, and they want, as a result, scatter the election. So they all have their interest in INEC. I often say it, and this is the truth. INEC is set up to rig the election for the ruling party. That is the expectation of the ruling party. That's why the president who appointed INEC chairman is president of Nigeria. He's the leader of APC. So they have enormous power and pressure.
If in your own opinion,
Yeah.
INEC was set up to rig the elections, in your own opinion, is the postponement in line with the rigging of the elections? Or
No.
was it an independent decision of Professor Mahmoud, and was it positive?
Well, I cannot say it's independent, knowing what I know. There's a lot of pressure. But they had no option than to postpone because they couldn't go ahead with an election that will exclude almost 13 states. That's what I know.
Now, following that postponement, the president came up and ordered a shoot at sight, gave a shoot at sight order for those who snatch ballot boxes. But before you take that reaction, let's go to Australia. You have another follower out there in Australia. Hello, out there in Australia.
We're Australia.
Hello, this is Salama from Australia.
Thank you so much for calling Nigeria Decides.
Good to have you on the show.
Please go ahead.
Salama, go ahead.
Hello.
Go ahead. We can hear you loud and clear.
Yes. Thank you. First of all, I want to say thank you very much to Omoyele Sowore for spearheading the overdue revolution in Nigeria. And I want to also tell Nigerians that if they miss this opportunity, I'm not sure what's going to become of Nigeria in the next 4 years.
I like that.
So I would want to appeal to all Nigerians that this is not the time for a competition. This is the time to put the best person to take Nigeria to where we ought to be. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I want to say thank you very much for that one. So far, our callers have been more in support of Sowore. I would want to find one person who would call on the show and ask Sowore the very vital question that might seem to be against him.
And unfortunately, we are hitting home stretch right here. When you sit here, you don't know. Time flies so much. Time flies so much. All right. We are, in the next 5 minutes, we'll be done with this. But you were on the verge of answering a question which I added.
Shoot-aside order that's completely wrong-headed. But that's Buhari unscripted. It's baying for blood once again, and it is very unfortunate because Nigeria is in the security situation it is today because of that kind of mentality. Most of the situation we are in terms of terrible security came as a result of years of violation of human rights, extrajudicial killing. Boko Haram emerged completely from extrajudicial killing. That was what led to the Boko Haram uprising to the scale that we have it today. You're seeing the same thing with the way we treat young people. You've heard the uprising about NSAS because people have been arbitrarily rounded up, and thrown into jail because, they wear nice clothes or they have a laptop or a nice cell phone or they're driving a nice car.
The guys of Yahoo boys.
So this is what President Buhari is promoting is enabling a jungle justice system in Nigeria that will allow our police and security, yes, forces to just go out there and shoot because they have a presidential order. The commander-in-chief says if you find somebody who is in possession of a ballot box or who tried to snatch a ballot box, kill the person.
And you can just shoot anybody at
yeah,
any time.
And then they can even kill somebody and place then a ballot box on the person, which is something that they do all the time in Nigeria. It's unfortunate.
Sure, we're out of time. I'd like to ask for your final word before we go. Right?
Just before that, it would be very unfair if we don't ask Omoyele the role of the media in all of this, in democratic process and nation building.
And in stating the role of the media, I'd like you to also, double-barrel question, double-barrel answer we'll get from you. Tell us what kind of media advantage you've enjoyed as a media practitioner too.
I have enjoyed zero media advantage. You know, it's as if the Nigerian media ganged up against me. They do not carry our stories, they don't cover our events. We have to beg them to get them to even, allow us to enjoy any kind of space. And one terrible thing they did is to continue to push the narrative that there are two alternatives, two available choices to be made in Nigeria between the devil and the deep blue sea. Whereas there are very credible, young, vibrant alternatives. Yeah, so I scored the Nigerian media very, very low in this particular election cycle. They have done a huge amount of injustice to our people. But good news is that people are not listening to conventional media only. I have not put a single advert in the newspaper or a billboard on the way to any airport and come from nowhere to become the third most popular political party and probably one of the most popular political candidates running for the presidency of Nigeria, the first in the history of Nigeria that spent the least amount of money but had the biggest impact.
And if you had, I'd like to add, we had a poll here some time ago, and out of 122 callers who called in and were asked, whom would you make your preferred candidate? You polled 25 callers saying they would make Omoyele Sowore. Omoyele Sowore, I want to say, we wish you all the best in your endeavor and pursuit towards the race to Aso Rock. What more can we say than just all the best?
You never said anything about your running mate.
Oh, he's a medical doctor,
Rufai.
Dr.
Yes.
Rufai. He's very
so much
sound.
to ask, yeah, but for want of time, I was going to ask why you picked Dr. Rufai for your running mate, an accomplished doctor.
I have a piece of good news.
Yes.
My producer is requesting Sowore to please come back here. There are lots of issues and so many fans. You don't know how many calls. You don't know how many calls that they are not able to take, all from outside Nigeria.
Can we do this again?
Please grant us.
Yes. Look, let's work. I see that you do this on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
And Thursdays. We're here 1 p.m. tomorrow afternoon.
Yes. Let's have a conversation as to where we can fit in. We'd love to do this again. Like I had mentioned in private before we got here, I was actually requesting to meet Pastor Chris, and that was what led me to your station.
Okay.
And I hope he's watching.
He's watching.
And I want to challenge you.
He's watching.
You said right on this platform that the media hasn't done much.
They haven't.
And here we are again on this same platform. We're asking you to come back on this show.
Well, this is great, but I wish that we had been doing this before now. Probably would have done like 10 shows by now in 1 year. Yes.
Tomorrow won't be fine for you?
I think we'll talk to our media people. I will be happy to come back.
Okay, the viewers would also be waiting. Omoyele Sowore might be a guest tomorrow. The
They
time
will
for
shoot another
tomorrow's show
poll.
is